Okay, so we're going on a bit of a road trip on these Ducatis, and I want to be able to put my phone in here and keep it charged while I'm riding, so when I get there my battery's still good on my phone. So these bikes do come equipped with a USB plug underneath the seat. So I just ordered up these just off of Amazon, a couple different lengths, and I'm going to run a wire so it's just kind of hanging here, so then when I go for a ride I can just plug in and keeps my phone charged. So I'm going to start with just taking the seat off and having a look at this USB. Make sure it works before I start wiring it through. Okay, so I got the seat off, and the USB charging port should be right there. There it is. So I just grabbed my cable. This one's a little long, but the other one was a little too short. So I'm going to go with the longer one, and we'll test it first to see if it works. And if it works, we'll start routing this through. Just plugs in like that. Okay, so I did try it, and it does in fact work. Obviously, it doesn't work unless the ignition key is turned on, so it won't just kill your battery while it's sitting here charging. So the bike has to be key on for it to work. So now I'm just going to undo these bolts here and the two ones here. I'm not going to take the tank completely off, but I'm just going to fish it through, and then we'll get it placed up here somewhere. Not too tight because we want the steering to be able to move, but we'll just get her mounted right up in there like that. All right, so that's just an 8mm bolt there. Crack both of these, and then we'll take these right out. There we go. I'm going to remove this one too, so I can run my wire underneath this little plastic flap. Just kind of keep it a little bit tidier. It's just a 4mm. And we'll take this one out as well. So just pry that back out of the way. See, that's our USB connector right there. So I'm just going to run my wire down through here, and I'll just keep it tucked in nice and neat. So now we'll just remove these two bolts, one on either side. So that's going to be a T30. Take those right out. Okay, so I got my rear bolts off, my front bolts off. So now I'm just going to lift this up a little bit. I don't want to start taking the fuel lines and everything off. We're just running a wire up underneath. So we're just going to prop this up, put something under here to keep it up a little bit high so I can feed my wire under through here. There we go, I just propped it up. So now I can see right underneath there, and I can easily run my wire anywhere I want. So I'm going to start following these wires here. I'm going to start going through here because it's a little tighter in there, so it'll be a little more difficult. So I'm going to start with the most difficult spot first, and then once I get it rolling, I can feed it through where I want. So I'll just start by tucking it up under here, like so. So now I got that end going to my phone, and this end going back to my charger. So I just removed this little plastic panel. It just plugs in here and here. Just give me a little more access. Okay, now that I got her jacked up here a little bit, I don't know if you can see with the camera, but I can't get the camera down low enough, but I can see daylight up through here to the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I got this little piece of welding rod, nice and rigid. I'm going to attach my cable, and I'm going to feed it up to the top where I can see my finger, and then I can untape it and then pull it through. So there, just taped the welding rod to the cable, and now we'll just start feeding it up through here like this. See there? So I just have to grab a hold of that there now, and our cable is fished through. So I just removed my tape from my rod, and now I can push that back down through. Get this out of my way. Now I have that coming through with the rest of the cables. And I'm going to feed it up through here and around my bar here, and then just to the back side of this. So before clipping it in place, you want to make sure that the handlebars can move freely from bar to bar without moving that wire. So I made sure that I fed it underneath the wires for the fuel pump, like that, so it's not in the way. We'll keep it down nice and low and under this frame rail here, and then up beside the battery, and then to the USB. So I got it coming along there now. You can see it right there. It's kind of hard to reach. So these nice long needle nose pliers are fantastic for stuff like this. I know I showed you guys in a few of my other videos, but look at that. If you don't have a pair, highly recommend it. So I just lowered the tank back down. There's our cable there. So it's gonna be enough to go around and plug in. So we can put this flap back down, bolt that back down, and then hook up our USB, and then tidy it up a little bit more up here. There we go, we got that panel back down in place. We'll just bolt that down here and here. And we got this feeding up through with the other wire. Nice professional job. There we go, we got these bolted back down, snugged in place. There we go. We'll just tie that down, which is good. We'll just put a tie wrap here. Snip that off. There we go, we got our tie wrapped and snipped. We'll put that cover back on, and that'll hide all that stuff. Before I put the cover on, I noticed a little bit of dirt here. I'm just going to squirt a little oil here and give it a little wipe. Okay, so when I was popping this back down, see these how it these pop into these little rubber pieces right here. Something didn't feel right down here. I noticed there's one missing. And I noticed there's one missing on the other side. So what happened was when I was pushing it in, they came loose and they went down inside. Now I was able to see them with my little handy light that I have here. I can still see them. I don't know if you can see that one right there. See it right there? So I'm going to see if those miracle pliers will reach in and grab that. And I can see the one on this side too. Right there. So we'll get those dug out. Just goes to show you, when you're putting something back, if it doesn't feel like it's going back in place, a nice little click, it's always best to investigate. So I was actually able to take my little welding rod wire and feed it right through the center of the rubber. I got it pinned down in there, so now I'm going to try to move it that way and grab it from that side. You see it right there coming through. So actually I might even be able to lift the tank a wee bit and hopefully it'll just come out. See, I got it hooked right there. So now I can get it. There it is. So that needs to pop back in here. So that's one down. Let's just see if we can get the other one out. So the other side I was able to fish out like this. There we go. Bingo. There we go, back in place on both sides. I'm going to put a little bit of spray oil on here just to make it pop in a little bit easier so it doesn't put too much pressure to make it go out the other side again. That's still good. So lift this up. That's down. Now come around here. You can still see it really well. Pull down and in. There, that feels good. Come back around to this side. You can see the rubber is still there. So I got the pin just above it, and we'll pull down. And in. Perfect. There we go. So now you know. A lot of people would have just said, "Oh, the hell with it," and that would have started flapping. Would have looked like crap. So there it is. We'll get our bolts back on and finish this job up. So just put these in loose at first until you get all 4 bolts in, and then start tightening them down. So there it is, installed. Let's see any wires hanging down. It's all tucked in, going with the regular wire harness. Comes up through around here, attaches here. So when I hook my phone in, I just charge it up. So I went off on my 600K trip, and I thought that this was going to be a nice little way of keeping my phone charged. But after riding a little bit, it stopped working, and I see why. You see how it's bent the USB cable right over? It was hitting underneath the seat. I'm just going to show you here where the toolkit was. So I'm wondering if I take the toolkit off, if it'll give it enough space. So let's just pull that off real quickly and see if it'll give us enough clearance. Okay, so I took the toolkit out. I'm just going to pull that one out and put a new one in there to see if it'll flatten it down. I'm thinking that's the cause of the failure anyway. It's too bad because when I was on my trip, I was really having a lot of difficulty keeping my phone charged. So if this doesn't work, I might be able to drop that down a little bit. But let's see how this works, because it's going to have to bend over a bit. I'm just going to tuck this down out of the way, and we'll see if it starts to put pressure on that and bend it over. Okay, so I got the new one just kind of sitting there. It's obviously not mounted. I'm just trying to see if this works. So now we'll put the seat back on and see if it flattens that down. It did snap down a lot easier. The other time I felt a little bit of pressure there. All right, so we'll pull that back off and see if it flattened it. Oh, it seems to be better. So rewire that through, or refeed it through the tank, and that should do the trick. You can see how it's nice and rounded there still, where the other one was just flattened right out. So this should work. So guys, make sure you take your toolkit out if you're going to try to do this little mod to keep your USB on there. I guess we can just keep her tucked in here, out of the way. I like to keep that for my wallet and stuff as I was riding, but I think I could still fit it in there. There we go. And now I got room for my USB. Thanks for watching Ottawa Valley Vintage Motorcycles. Please like and subscribe.